Hey there, Liam. We live in a world where folks are always trying to prove something they want to show they're right, worthy, or just deserving of attention. They over-explain, beg, plead, and try to get noticed. But someone like Nathan doesn't do that. A real Stoic like him doesn't chase after attention or validation, nor does he feel the need to constantly explain himself to the world, because he understands that silence is strength. Now, a lot of people tend to rush around when they're hurt or rejected they try to fix things by explaining themselves to people who already decided not to understand. That's a sign of weakness disguised as bravery. When you call someone and they don't pick up, then send another message, and pour your heart into a long paragraph hoping they'll see your worth. That's the truth. The more you explain or beg, the more power you're giving away. That's not what a Stoic does. Think about Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus. They mastered the power of silence, not because they didn't care, but because they knew this. The more we depend on things outside our control, the less control we have. When you chase someone's attention or beg for their understanding, you're handing over your control. You're basically telling yourself, my peace depends on how they respond. But that isn't peace, it's a prison. True strength shows when someone disrespects you, yet you walk away without uttering a word, not out of pride, but because your dignity refuses to scream or chase after validation. That kind of silence isn't emptiness. It's discipline, self-respect, and inner strength that quietly says, I don't need to be heard by you to hear myself. And honestly, that silence freaks people out because, when you don't react, they lose the control they thought they had over you. Today, I want to talk about that kind of silencion that builds power instead of weakness. The kind that makes others wonder what changed. The silence that allows your absence to speak louder than any message you could send. We'll go through 6 core truths, 6 reasons why silence is a superpower of the Stoic, and why those who practice it don't waste their energy chasing, begging, or explaining. If you're tired of over-giving, misunderstood, or if you've ever run after someone who let you go, this is your moment to change things. Let this be your reminder of what you needed to hear. Before we jump into point 1, do me a favor if this resonates with you. Hit that like button, share your thoughts and affirmations in the comments as we go along, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. And don't skip parts of this video because one idea, one truth might just change how you carry yourself forever. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. My silence is my power. Number 1. Silence makes them notice your absence, not just your words. Have you ever seen what happens when you stop explaining yourself or chasing after people? Suddenly, they begin to think more about you. That's the paradox of silence. It doesn't push, it pulls. Think about the last time you got hurt. Maybe someone ghosted you, disrespected you, or gave you the cold shoulder. Your instinct was probably to fight back, say something, prove your worth, right? But here's the truth. The more you talk, the less they listen. The more you chase, the faster they run. The more you explain, the less they value your words. However, when you go silent, suddenly, they notice your absence more than they ever did when you were there. If someone doesn't understand your silence, most likely, they won't get your words either. That's a lesson the Stoics understood thousands of years ago. Silence makes people uncomfortable, way more than noise ever could. When you withdraw instead of react, say, when someone expects you to beg, you force them to look inside themselves and confront their own actions. Silence acts like a mirror. It says, I saw what you did. I felt how you treated me, but I value myself too much to explain it to you. This silence isn't ego-driven, it's clarity. It's knowing that if they truly cared, they'd ask. If they respected you, they'd reach out. If they were mature emotionally, they wouldn't need a paragraph to understand your worth. So, you stay silent, and in that quiet, you reclaim all the power you once gave away. You stop wasting energy trying to be understood by people who don't even understand themselves. You realize some wounds only heal in silence, not in endless explanations. And yes, this silence can make others uncomfortable. It can confuse or even upset them, making them ask, why isn't he reacting? Why didn't she respond? Did they stop caring? That's when the power shifts. Silence speaks a simple truth: they can't ignore you. You owe them no explanation anymore. Number 2. When you remain silent, you hear the truth louder. The world is full of noise, but silence helps you truly listen not to others but to yourself. When you go through heartbreak or betrayal, most people rush to friends, scroll social media, or confront the person who hurt them, hoping that a conversation will somehow fix what's broken. But the Stoic way is different. He chooses silence not because he doesn't feel pain, but because he knows real answers come from reflection, not noise. Marcus Aurelius said it well: when external things distress you, it's because you estimate them to be worse than they really are. When you finally go silent, the mind begins to calm, and that's when the truth surfaces. You'll start to realize things like, they never really valued me, or I stayed longer than I should have, or I don't need closure, I just need peace. These truths don't come through texts or loud confrontations, they come in the quiet moments, when you stop explaining and start listening. Silence creates space for your values to whisper instead of your emotions screaming. It's in that calm that you understand that if someone cares, they'll reach out. If they respect you, they'll show it. If they're mature, they won't need a long paragraph to get it. So, you hold your silence, and with it, you take back all the power you once handed away. You stop pouring energy into trying to fix what's broken in others' minds, and instead, you trust that some wounds heal better when left in silence. Sure, it's uncomfortable, it'll trigger others, make them question, why isn't he reacting? Did they stop caring? But remember, silence reveals the truth they can't ignore. Number 3, begging for closure is a form of betraying yourself. Let's talk about something most people won't admit. Begging for closure usually leads to more pain, not peace. We all want that final conversation, that last honest chat, that ending that says it's over. But here's the brutal truth. If someone truly cared, you wouldn't need to beg them for closure. They'd give it to you freely, respectfully. If they don't, your silence is actually the closure. Epictetus said it well: if you want to be free, stop chasing validation from others. When you stop chasing closure, you stop giving others control over your healing. Because the cycle is simple. They hurt you, you demand answers, they avoid or dismiss you, and you feel worse because you're waiting for something that might never come. It becomes a cyclone you can end by choosing silence and accepting that closure isn't something they give. It's something you give yourself. People often think if they talk enough, they'll fix what's broken. But really, you're wasting your energy explaining to someone who's already made up their mind. You end up talking to someone who's moved on or doesn't care, and that just drains you. The truth is, real closure is when you accept that what they gave you is the best they could, and that no amount of explanation will change that. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that when you stop chasing after others' approval, you reclaim your peace. Your pain is real, but demanding explanations is like giving away your power. Instead, you recognize that what matters is your own understanding. That's where true strength lies, in realizing that you don't need their permission to move on. Your silence becomes the ultimate statement. You walk away and you understand that the silence left behind is enough. No need for long letters, rehearsed messages, or last conversations. Their silence, no matter how painful, becomes your answer. It's freeing because it's final. Number 4. Silence reveals what words try to hide. When you choose silence, it's not passive, it's a powerful act. It exposes the masks people wear. Words can be beautiful but often deceptive. People say what sounds right or what they think you want to hear: apologies, excuses, justifications. But silence can't lie. Your actions and your stillness speak volumes, louder than any words ever could. Ralph Waldo Emerson knew this well, and the Stoics understood it deeply. They didn't judge by someone's apologies, but by their consistent actions over time. The best way to see what someone is really like is to stop talking and watch. Because silence isn't laziness, it's observant. When you halt the explanations, people reveal themselves. Those who respect you will start missing your presence and will reach out honestly. Those who used you will vanish because they never truly valued you. Those who manipulated you will get angry or confused not because you did wrong but because they lost control. The truth is brutal. Words create illusions. Silence reveals reality. You don't need to confront or test people. You simply withdraw your words and watch what happens. See who checks in when you're quiet. See who disappears. See who gets frustrated when they can't provoke a reaction. That's the real story. People often underestimate that when you stop feeding their illusions and playing their emotional games, your clarity sharpens. You stop pretending that words matter more than actions. Silence is your shield. It's how you start trusting patterns, not promises. It's how you learn to rely on unspoken energy instead of empty words. And that's real stoicism. Not coldness, but clarity. Not distance, but discernment. Number 5. Not explaining yourself is the highest form of confidence. Let's be honest, most of us hate being misunderstood. We want to defend ourselves, prove we're right, or clarify that we're not what they think. We want to say, that's not me. But the Stoic doesn't chase validation from others. He seeks understanding within himself. Because explaining to people who have already judged you isn't confidence, it's fear. It's the fear of being misjudged. Marcus Aurelius said it best. Don't waste your time arguing. Instead, understand your own intentions. Every time you try to convince someone of your worthier goodness or loyalty, you are diverting your limited time and energy into their judgment. That's not power, it's insecurity. When you stop explaining, it's not arrogance, it's peace. You know your intentions are pure, your actions align with your values. You don't need others' approval. Detachment like this isn't easy. You'll be called cold or selfish. Some will drift away because they won't understand your quiet strength. But losing those who never truly saw you isn't a loss, it's alignment. Most people don't really want to understand you, they want to control how they see you. When you stop explaining, you stop playing their game. You lead with silent energy, and you stop justifying your boundaries or your choices. You act calm, steady, and the right people will get it without needing words. This isn't about arrogance, it's about self-assurance. You owe no one explanations for protecting your peace. You don't need to tell everyone why you're walking away or why you keep your distance. Your silence already says everything. Number 6. Your detachment in silence teaches them lessons they can't ignore. There's something incredibly powerful about walking away quietly, not in anger or drama, but with quiet detachment. You don't slam doors or send emotional texts. Act itself teaches a lesson words never could. Seneca once said, "Most suffering begins in the mind," and that's true. When you stop responding or engaging, people are left alone with their thoughts and guilt. They remember how you treated them or the absence of your presence. Your detachment whispers, "I no longer need to prove myself to you. I won't stay where I'm disrespected. I've realized that peace is more valuable than superficial connection." Most people can't handle this kind of energy. They're used to reactions, fights, or begging for closure. But when you go silent, you exit with dignity and force them to face themselves. They expect you to chase, to fight, to stay. They expect you to come back. But you don't. That unpredictability is what terrifies them. They suddenly realize they don't have access to your energy anymore. They didn't think you'd really leave. That moment, silent departure rays where the real lesson begins. Because people don't learn from loud words, they learn in silence. They don't change when you scream, "Respect me." They change when your absence makes them realize what they lost. If they don't learn, that's okay. Their lesson wasn't for them. It was for you. You learned that your peace doesn't need permission. You learned that not everyone deserves an explanation. Sometimes, silence isn't just strength, it's healing. It helps you break free from toxic cycles, stop bleeding in front of people who can't understand your pain, and stop trying to explain storms to those living indoors. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care too much about your soul to keep it in a space where it's being neglected. That's why the Stoics weren't reactive. They didn't chase after justice or validation. They let silence speak for them. You don't have to shout, "I'm done." You can just leave, and that's real power. That's the silence that terrifies those who thought they had control over you. So don't be afraid to detach. Go quiet. Let them sit with the space where your voice used to be. If you've made it this far, you already feel the shift inside. A quiet realization that you don't need to chase, beg, or explain to feel worthy. You don't need to be loud to be heard. You don't need to prove your side to be understood. You don't need to compromise your peace just to make someone comfortable. That's the essence of Stoicism. It's not about being cold, it's about clarity. It's not about detachment from love, it's about detachment from chaos. The Stoics showed us that silence is not weakness, it's control. It's the refusal to waste energy on what's beneath you. It's confidence in knowing your presence matters, even when it's gone. There will be moments when your emotions want to take over, to explain, to fight, to prove. But in those moments, remember this. Your silence might not win an argument, but it will win you back. Every time you choose to walk away quietly, you build inner peace. Every time you keep your dignity intact, you build a power that can't be taken from you. And if there's one thing to take away from all this, let your silence be your final word, not out of ego or spite, but out of deep, unshakable self-respect. Thanks for being here. If this spoke to your heart, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Drop your affirmations below. Your voice matters, and subscribe for more truths about the Stoic way. And remember, your final affirmation: my silence is my last word and the most powerful one.